breathing and pronunciation. Those are the two more important. Nothing's wrong there. Okay, good. Those are the two more important elements of singing. So what we want, so those two, if you take care of the issues with those two, you will take care of the issues of the quality of the sound. Now we have to get an idea of what breathing is. We all breathe to exist. Otherwise, we got the opposite. But breathing for singing is quite a bit different. It's like, it's the difference between, walking, cruising the mall, window shopping, versus if you went to Valley Fair, or how many of you know Stanford Shopping Center? Anybody? Okay, say you went to Valley Fair. Okay, you were at Valley Fair, and you were at Macy's, the big Macy's, and the person who drove you said, I have to leave here at 5 o'clock. If you're not here at 5, I'm going. You found yourself at 5 minutes to 5, or closer, at Macy's men's store, or the kids' shop. So, what's the difference between cruising the windows and hauling your keister across the, you've got to walk faster, not run, which means increased energy, It means increased energy, and you've got to do it fast. Well, that's kind of the same thing. Breathing for existing versus breathing for singing. It takes energy, because when you are singing, if you're just talking here like this, I'm over here, and we're just talking. I don't have to exert any energy. When you're singing and you're eating a microphone, you don't necessarily have to exert that much energy. But when you are singing without microphones, when you are singing acoustically, which is what I prefer, then you have to exert energy. And as a choir, if the choir is exerting energy, you can make 22 people sound like 32 or 40 people. And it's all in the way you approach your breathing and pronunciation. It's all in that way. So now, when you've heard people say, breathe from your stomach. Have you heard that? How many of you say, breathe from your stomach? Okay. That's kind of like saying the baby comes from mommy's tummy. Okay? If you get air in your stomach, you're going to start burping. Right? So really, where does the air go to? Think about it. It goes to the lungs. Yeah? It goes to the lungs. And that's where we have to think about. And the lungs are in the upper part of the chest cavity. Now, the reason why many teachers say breathe from your stomach is because it gives you an idea of breathing lower in your body, getting deeper in your body. It's not that you are breathing from your stomach or breathing from your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is an involuntary muscle. But you're using that core and that energy to get the air out from your lungs, through the trachea, picking up the sound off the vocal cords, and getting it out of your chest. And that's where it's very important. That concept is very important to understand, because many times we just sort of exhale and we stop it at the clavicle level. And then we try to breathe, get the air out from the larynx. And there isn't much air coming from the larynx. So what we have to do is get this idea of feeling from your whole chest cavity. Not just, if you can hear it, especially in the inhale, if you can hear it, what you're hearing is restriction. And if you are in a group that uses a lot of microphones, what the congregation hears is, and somebody's waiting with the oxygen tank to come and save you. And I always tell my students, gee, you know what? I forgot my oxygen tank today. So you're going to have to, oh, by the way, if you have one of these, I forgot, turn it off. You already have a more advanced one than I do. So anyway, so we want to learn how to breathe silently, especially if you are in a group that uses a lot of microphones. We don't want to hear a lot of, it gets distracting. And it's also very drying to the vocal cords. So what we want to do is we want to start learning how to use our bodies to breathe, because our bodies are really the instrument. How many of you play instruments? Any reed players? Ah, yeah, okay, that's a special problem right there. You know, when you play an instrument, you can see your embouchure. You can see your fingers, whether it's a clarinet or a flute or a piano or whatever. You can see what's going on. When you are singing, you can't see what's going on because it's all inside. So you have to become really aware of what the inside of your body feels like. And that's a lot of self-awareness, I gotta tell you. It's a lot of self-awareness. You also have to be willing to let go. You have to be willing to be out of control. I had a voice student once that was successful finally in her lesson of letting go, and she broke into tears because she wasn't used to that. So you have to be willing, in order to sing well and let the sound flow, you have to be willing to let go, because that's what it is. And if you're having problems, you have problems with higher pitches, maybe in the soprano section or the alto section or something. How many of you sing in 3 or 4 part harmony? Okay, the rest of you just do unison singing? 2-part unison?
No, yeah.
Okay, we're going to do some part singing to get you used to hearing. Because I know in small groups it's kind of difficult, but we want to do a little bit of part singing. So in order to get the sound out and get the sound improved, and especially to get yourself into the higher registers, especially for sopranos and alto, especially for the women's voice, it's how you let go. Let go of it, not control it. Because controlling the sound is your worst enemy. Controlling the sound from the larynx can be your worst enemy. So what we're going to do right now is I want everybody to stand up and put your music on your chair. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is, before you do this, I want you to watch. I want you to take your elbow with your opposite hand. Before you do it, just watch. I want you to take your elbow with your opposite hand, and as you stretch that arm across, I want you to inhale and stretch that part of your back. Okay? So let's do that. Inhale. And let go. And exhale. Now let's do the other arm. Stretch and inhale. And let go. Let's do that one more time. Stretching one side of your back. Exhale. Stretch the other side. And let go. Now I want you to take your wrist and go over and across and do the same thing. Stretch that side of your back. Inhale. And let go. And let's do the other side. Inhale. And let go. Let's do that one more time. Stretch and exhale. And stretch and exhale. Good. Now I want you to take both hands, and in front, we're going to stretch both sides of the back now. So you're going to move forward, inhale, and exhale. Then let's do one more time. Stretch and exhale. Now you're going to stretch across the chest cavity. Pin your shoulder blades back, inhale, and exhale. One more time. Stretch and exhale. Now you're going to go over, stretch, inhale, over, only as far as you can. Don't strain yourself. Let go. Over one side and the other. Yeah, I've worked in a lot of different churches. Let's do that one more time. Now, I've worked in a lot of churches in this area, different Christian denominations. And in one church, I was an interim for a year while they were looking for a new choir director. And I had one choir member who looked at me and said, you know, that's the most exercise I get all week. So this is so let's do the whole, it's what I call vocal circuit training, okay? Those of you who've been to the gym and do the circuit thing, or, you know, what's that women's gym thing? Curves, yeah. So we're gonna do our own version of circuit training. So, elbow across, inhale. And exhale. Other elbow across. Inhale. Okay? Wrist forward and out. Exhale. Other side. Wrist forward and out. Exhale. Both together. Forward. Exhale. Get your shoulder blades back. Stretch in front of your chest. Exhale. Over. Exhale. Over. Exhale. Good. Now, the next thing we're going to do. The next thing we're going to do is the concern about phrasing. And we'll get to a little bit to that. We'll get to that a little bit later in actual phrasing. But there is something we can do in breathing that will help facilitate that. Usually, the idea of phrasing is reading the text outside of the context of the music and paying attention to where you're supposed to breathe. In any piece, in any song, in any choral piece, take the music out of musical context and pay attention to where it makes sense. Many times we read right after a long note, regardless of whether or not it makes sense with the text. We see a long note and we go, a long note. So we're gonna eliminate that, because what is important, what I feel is important, is the text. The text is primary. We don't change the text, or we don't change the music to fit our shortcomings. What we do is we work on our shortcomings so they make sense with the music, because the words are primary. In instrumental music, they have the music, and sometimes with certain leitmotifs and things like this, you can imagine what might be happening with the music. But we as singers have something specific to think about, and that's the text, which gives definite meaning to what we are saying. So we want to pay attention to the text. So it's very important that we take our shortcomings and we work on our shortcomings so that we can do justice to the music. Okay, Maria. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have you inhale to 4 beats. I'm going to have you inhale to 4 beats. And then I'm going to have you exhale to 8 beats. And what I want you to think about is how much you inhale over those 4 beats. I want you to try not to go for 2 beats and then hold for 2 beats. And then when you exhale, I want you to see if you can exhale over the entire 8 beats and not just 4 beats and then hold. What we want to eliminate is the inhale, holding, exhale, holding, inhale, holding, exhale, holding. We want flow. Inhale, exhale, like waves coming on the shore. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So we're going to do this. You're going to inhale to 4 beats, which means you are going to remember the stretches that we just did. I want you to use those stretches, which means you take the muscles under your rib cage in your back, and you stretch. Okay? You stretch. Let your stomach go. Use the muscles in your rib cage and stretch. Here we go. You ready? Open up your mouth. Create an ah shape. Okay? You can inhale through your nose and your mouth. But I want you to get used to that ah shape. Okay? So here we go. Ready? And start. Stretch. 2, 3, 4. Turn around and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, how many made it? Comfortably? Yeah? Okay, good. Okay, let's do a few more and then I'll extend it. Yeah. So when you exhale, give me a fish face. When you exhale. Okay, so here you go. Good. There you go. We got a camera here. Okay, ready. Now, here we go. One more time. Stretch. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep your shoulders loose. Keep your shoulders loose. Just work with your back. And then when it comes to the exhale, just roll your waist muscles in. Just roll them in. One more time. Stretch. 2, 3, 4. Turn it around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stretch. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn around. Stretch. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more time. Stretch. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Is everybody gonna do it? Okay. This is what you have. This is the type of elongation of an exhale and air that you need for these phrases. That's what makes it different than just breathing for existing. Okay? So now we're going to extend it to 12. Okay? Which means you have to pay attention to what the inside of your body feels like. Okay? Now, try not to tighten your stomach. Try not to tighten your stomach. Okay? Okay, we're just going to do this. Ready? Here we go. Stretch. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. How'd you do? Yeah? Okay? Some of you, well, it's kind of, okay, so pay attention to how much you exhale in the very beginning. Now, I'm going to ask you to sit for just a second.
Oh boy.
That's
why I don't want to sit in front.
Well, it's too late now. Now, let me ask you, when you're singing long phrases and you perceive yourself to be running out of air, how many of you feel that you're pushing in the middle of your chest cavity? How many of you feel that? Yeah, raise your hand. Yeah, So you think you're running out of air, and so you go, yeah? Or you're singing higher pitches. Now what do you do? So this is what I want you to think about. I want you to think about a line that goes from here to here, straight through your body. Okay? And then another line that goes straight from here to here. Okay? Thank you, Cece.
That was easy.
I didn't ask you to sing, maybe later.
The teacher said.
Anyway, where those two lines meet in the center of your chest cavity.
Diaphragm.
Well, yeah, kind of above your diaphragm in the center of your chest cavity. That's where we usually push, because the diaphragm is an involuntary muscle that sits over your stomach. But right about there is where we tend to push when we think we're running out of air. Yeah? So what I want you to think about because we're going to go do this breathing again. What I want you to think about is, go to that point, imagine that point within your chest cavity. And instead of squeezing into it, what happens when you squeeze the center of a tube of toothpaste? It's like, I have no more toothpaste. Well, what about all that stuff on the bottom of the tube? Yeah, it's still there. So, what I want you to think about, instead of squeezing into that point in your body, when you think you're running out of air, or when you're hitting notes that you think you cannot hit, they're a little too high, especially when you get up to the third space, or the fourth line, or the fifth line, even sopranos, you know, oh, that's so hard. Wrong. Especially when you get up there. Instead of squeezing into that point, I want you to think about that point, and I want you to open it up like a flower. Yeah? Instead of squeezing, open it up. And create, in your mind, create a space in there. Okay? And see, let's see what happens. Now let's stand up and let's do this breathing exercise. Okay? So here we go. And we're going to do it to 12. Which means you have to pay attention to how much air you exhale in the beginning as well. If you're going over a longer period of time, maybe you need to be a little more stingy with your exhale. Because quite frankly, it doesn't take that much air to sing. It does not take that much air to sing. Higher pitches do not require more air. Higher pitches require more energy. And it also requires, instead of trying to find the pitches here in your throat, you have to find them here in your brain's ear first. That's number one, in your brain's ear. Have you ever had a tonally challenged person in your group? See, I am a believer that there is no such thing as tone deafness, although it's come pretty close to a couple of people in my voice. But the one thing that people with good ears can parrot back pitches really fast. The one thing I've discovered that they have in common with the tonally challenged person is that neither one thinks about the pitch. The person with the good ear doesn't have to think. But what happens when something strange, something odd, something different comes? The first thing you do is you go to the pianist and you say, can you play that note for me? Yeah? Or in choir, when choir members become very good at singing what I call the wow-wow effect. It's play, sing, play, sing, play, sing. So you become very adept at hearing and a split second later singing. Because you're so used to being dependent upon the piano. You are more dependent on your ear than you are on your brain. So we have to learn how to use our brains. Our brain's ear. Listen for those pitches first. Listen first. Listen here. And if you have a problem, and I don't know why this works, but I'm telling you it does, take your index finger and put it right there. As a reminder that this is where it comes from. Okay? And it's amazing how it does work. So anyway, I want you to think, we're going to do this breathing exercise. And I want you to think about the length, 12 beats, so you don't have to exhale so much in the beginning. You want to extend that breathing line over the whole 12 beats, okay? And so you have to pay attention to what it feels like within your body. Here we go. Ready? And stretch. 2, 3, 4. Turn it around. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. Any better? A little bit better? Remember not to squeeze in the center part of your chest. Keep it open. And breathe through it. One more time. Stretch. 2, 3, 4. Turn it around. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. Stretch. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Turn around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Once more. Stretch. Turn it around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Any better? Aha, yeah, much better. And this is what and as a matter of fact, if some of you do any public speaking, this is also an exercise that you need to do for public speaking. Because, you know, we are so dependent on microphones. Microphones are not the cure-all. They're not the curative. If it sounds bad acoustically, it's going to sound bad with the microphones. Yeah? Microphones only make it louder. Not better. Louder. Unless your church is fortunate to have a sound engineer and your church is so rich that you can have one of those, you know, well, one of these things that, you know, the pop singers have. They, you know, they improve the sound, they improve the resonance, what do they call it?
Auto-tune.
Auto-tune. Unless you have auto-tune, immediately it doesn't happen. Okay? So have a seat. Now, I know a lot of churches don't necessarily use chant too much. But, you know, for some seasons, like we always, for Lent, I always use chant. I always use the RNA for Lent, and I will use it a lot for Advent too. But mostly for Lent, because that season seems to be the time season to use that. So what we're going to do, after the break, we're going to take a break in about 20 minutes. We're going to put some of this stuff to use on extending the sound with the breath. The breath is really important. And you know, if you correct the breath and you correct the pronunciation, you will correct the tone.